Hey all, Cohen here. So today is December 23rd, 2015, and today I am officially a year and a half on T. So this video, I'm just going to go through things that I've noticed throughout the last year. I'll briefly touch upon the things that happened in the beginning of my transition, but I'm going to try to stick to what has happened recently and overall. Um, so I'm gonna link a voice comparison either at the beginning or the end of this video. So if you've already seen it, then you know. If you haven't, then it's coming. Um, but for the first month, my voice really didn't do much besides I had felt like a tickle in my throat, and my voice didn't really change much. Towards the 2 and 3 month mark was when my voice really started to lower. It does hit points where it will cut out still. It does hit points where it goes a little bit wonky, but not as much as it did within my first year. So by the 6 month mark, it went pretty low, and by 8 months, it was at a point where it stayed for a while. I feel like there might have been some little changes to my voice between like the 8 months to a year, but I feel like there weren't that many. And then at around a year, I feel like my voice kind of dropped a little bit around that time period again. Um, and then I felt like over the last 6 months, it didn't do too much. It's pretty much just stayed the same. But within the last month or two, I've noticed that I believe it has gone down a little bit more. So that's good because I got to a point where I really, really liked my voice and how low it was going. But then I got to a point where I could still hear my old voice a little bit. So it's just like an echo, kind of, if I want to relate it to something. But so it's pretty much almost like an echo, and that started to bother me. So when it did drop again, it made me feel better. I do know that there is a specific length of time where changes will still happen, even with my voice. And I know I'm not at that point yet. It was just one of those things where it had come to a slowdown after a year. And then it was me noticing my old voice a little bit underneath. And I was hoping that that would go away because I actually really started to like my voice. I didn't like hearing myself talk. I didn't like um, voice messages. I didn't like answering machine messages, but now I'm pretty okay with my voice. I can watch my own videos on YouTube. Before I didn't like watching myself at all, didn't like hearing myself. And to be perfectly honest, after about 6 months on TV for physical appearance, it was a lot easier to look at pictures of myself, to watch my YouTube videos. I haven't watched any of my really old ones, my very first ones, in a while. So that'll probably be something that I might do at my 2 year mark is go back and watch my very first couple videos to see the differences and then make my 2 year video based on that. So that was pretty cool to know that that things keep going. Like, don't feel like if things haven't changed in a bit, you know, after a year, the changes are more subtle, and it's almost like actually, it's not almost like it's exactly like you are just you're growing, you're going through puberty, so it's exactly the same, pretty much, as what a cisgendered guy goes through. You're just going through it now. So if you think about it, it will take a certain amount of time because guys don't go through puberty that quickly if they are cisgendered. I noticed that my feminine fat started redistributing around the like it slowly started at 3 months, but not enough to really make a big deal. The only thing that I noticed at the 3 months was that I had breast tissue that was actually dissipating. So, to be perfectly honest, tea helped out a lot. I'm so glad that I waited until I was on tea for a little while before I had my surgery because I had been almost a D and I went down to a like medium sized small B right before my surgery, and I think that was about like somewhere around 6 to 8 months apart. Um, I was already on T for about 6 months, so that helped out a lot. I did notice right away that one of the things that disappeared was my ass. I had somewhat of an ass as a female that was um, average or adequate for a female, but I did notice that one of the biggest areas of fat redistribution was from my ass. So now I really don't have an ass much at all. Like, obviously I have an ass, but it's definitely not the same ass that I had for 28 years, I'll tell you that much. But that's okay, because pants fit better, underwear fit better. It's not a big deal to me. I'm not too concerned about my own ass. I do still have love handles because tea doesn't take care of everything. It will start to disperse it a little bit, but the one main thing is that some of these female areas that carry fat, it will start to dissipate, but it won't completely disappear. And what you do have to do is you do have to work out to be able to get rid of those. Before my top surgery, I had gotten rid of my love handles, and then I had my surgery, and then I wanted to make sure that my scars were. I don't care if I have scars, but if I'm going to pay a lot of money for surgery and these scars are going to be there forever, then my main goal was to make sure that they were as like not visible as possible. So even if I did have visible scars, I'd be okay, but the less visible, the better. So one of the things with that was that I did have my surgery, and then I couldn't work out for a while, and then I wanted to make sure that my scars ended up healing properly and looking as minimal as possible. So I did not start working out again until probably full out workout was probably like between 4 to 6 months when I started getting back into it. So um, at that point, my love handle stayed, and unfortunately, I've been a little bit busy and clearly a little bit lazy when it comes to working out and pushing myself to do that. So my love handles are still sticking around. They're not huge, it's not a big deal, but it is one of those things that does trigger dysphoria. So that for me at certain times is a little bit, but like I said, if I want to change that, then I have to work out, and that's how it is. Tea will help you with a lot of the fat redistribution, with a lot of things, but if you really want specific things to happen, you do have to make them happen. So just keep that in mind. I also lost about 30 pounds when I started tea. Some guys end up getting a little bit huskier. Some guys lose a lot of weight. My metabolism went up like crazy, and I ended up losing a lot of weight, but that's okay because it was replaced by muscle. But at this point, I am borderline almost underweight for my size because um, tea has done such a good job of getting rid of my fat and how it works throughout my body with my metabolism now. So I do have to eat like a pig, and that's what my next thing is would be hunger. In the beginning, I was a little bit hungry, and then after a month, I was like, oh my god, I want to eat everything. My whole fridge, I'm gonna eat everything. Um, After 6 to 8 months, it calmed down, and it was like, I eat as much as I ate pre-tea, and then now, um, I get it's the same as pre-tea. I don't eat a whack load, but when I do eat, there's a lot of food that I eat. So I may not eat 4 or 5 times during the day, like, or even the 3 times that you're supposed to eat at, which is really bad, and I know that is, but it's a work in progress. So either way, but as for hunger, the feeling, I'm really not raging to go raid my fridge right now or in the last 6 months, really. It's just moments that I get where I'm just like, dang, I'm really hungry, and then I eat an abundance of food, and it was like, wow, that was a lot. But I figure that most of my hunger moments took place during my after the first month and up until like the 6 to 8 month. It was kind of like a roller coaster type thing of hunger throughout those months where it was like either it was a big deal if I was hungry because I was hangry, or it wasn't a big deal and I wasn't really hungry. So hit or miss, really, for some guys. Some guys get really hungry, some guys don't get hungry, and there's some of us that just float in the middle, and we're like, I eat when I eat, and if I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So, it works different for everyone. Muscle. I've noticed that my thighs have gotten bigger. They have gotten more muscular. I don't really do leg workouts. So, one thing I do know is if I want defined thighs or calves, then I'm going to have to work out. But I have noticed that my leg muscles have actually become more defined and they do look more masculine. My arms are pretty decent. There's not a lot of fat on them. It's easier to build muscle on my arms. It happens a lot quicker now with tea. And if I stuck to a regular workout, I'm sure that I would have some sort of awesome results. But unfortunately, due to anxiety and depression, I have not been able to motivate myself to do those types of things, even though I would like to. So in the new year, that's one of my goals, is to try to motivate myself a little bit more. It's not that I want to be ripped or jacked or anything like that. I just like to look a little better for myself. That's all. Maybe my wife would like it too. Who knows? But I don't have an issue with not being overly muscular or even I just have a regular average body. I don't have a lot of muscle on my stomach. I don't have big back muscles. I am a small guy. I am 5'3", so it's gonna take a bit. I can't, obviously, the metabolism thing, so I can't gain weight. So bulking's gonna be a little bit harder if I do want to get bigger. But that's something that I'm gonna have to reach when I get there. But I do know that the possibility is there. It's just that the work does need to be put in. Sex drive. I will briefly talk about that. In the beginning, it kind of wasn't really anything that was like, oh my god, I'm so horny, like, oh, help me. It wasn't anything like that. I did notice that progressively throughout my first year, it was something where it was like, started off on T, and it was the exact same as it always had been. And then moving towards the 6 months, it became something where it was like, I have a little bit more of a desire, but it's nothing that, like, I feel I have to act upon or I'm going to get moody about. And then after that point, it pretty much moved to where it becomes something that's an annoyance on a day-to-day basis in a way, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's not a necessity. It's not like I'm going to lose my mind because, like, I'm horny. It happens. It happens to the best of us, and we can't always do something about it. And yeah, so, and it's not statistically 100% proven, but guys do have a higher sex drive. Guys do end up with sexual thoughts more so than women. So I'm not surprised that happened. I don't mind that it happened. Uh, Obviously, it's a little bit of an irritant, like I said, but at the end of the day, it's nothing crazy. I guess if you had a really crazy sex drive pre-T and then it just went nuts after, then obviously that will be an issue. But for my personal self, it really has not been an issue. It's just something that you get used to, pretty much. It's just there, and when you do it, you do it. Hairline. I don't know if anybody can see, but I really haven't had my hairline recede much at all, to be honest. Like, the only thing that it's really done is create the more masculine shape versus where females have it more rounded off and it comes forward more. But there really is no, like, it's not that bad. I have really blonde hair, so to be perfectly honest, my hair actually starts right here. So you can see that it goes to like here, but it's all really blonde right here. So I actually haven't noticed that at all. My facial hair has definitely, everybody can see that, has definitely decided to come in very, very nicely. I'm super impressed. I did start getting facial hair lightly right away. I did have a little bit of facial hair and body hair in certain areas pre-T, so that was something that probably also helped out with that. Um, but to be honest, by 4 months on T, I pretty much had the chin strap like pretty much a good outline of a chin strap. And then from that point on, like at 6 months, it was already filling in. And then at 6 months, I had noticed that I had little patchy bits. So what I started doing was I went out and bought a hair trimmer. And all I do is I put it on a setting that's not going to take it all off. I like the length, and in order to have it fill in, I like to keep it a little bit longer versus shorter. So all I do is I go across it with a trimmer, and that cuts off all the dead ends, which is going to allow it to grow and encourage it to grow. And then it's also evening up all your spots that are patchy because there is hair there. You just can't see it because it's not as thick and coarse as the rest of the hair that's growing in. And what you want to do is encourage that hair to grow past where the rest of it is, because you could have all these stragglies, but then you can have an indent where there's not a lot. So if you actually start trimming your beard versus shaving it, same with your mustache or anything like that, it will actually encourage the hair to come out more. And I also find that if I exfoliate my face about 2 to 3 times a week, really good along the beard line, when I get out of the shower, it has encouraged the hair to come out of the pores a little bit more. It's not a huge noticeable thing, but it actually does bring the hair out more, and then that will encourage it to grow more. And I believe, to be perfectly honest, that is 100% why I do have a beard like this, because I am German and my brother is extremely beardly, but at the same point, nobody else in my family besides my brother is. So I'm German and I'm native. My native cousins can't really grow facial hair that great, and my German cousins can't really grow facial hair that great. So it's a fluke, I guess, you know? But I was extremely lucky. I also have a lot better self confidence. If you've watched my videos from the beginning, you may notice that. Um, I don't mind being a goof. I know this goes online. I don't mind answering questions. I do not go overly personal on this, though. So I'm going to talk about dysphoria just gently because this video is getting a little bit long, but it's almost over. But with dysphoria, I got my top surgery last year on January. Well, actually, it was this year, this January. So it was this January on the 5th. So on the 5th of January 2016, I will be 1 year post-op. And I've noticed that I'm a lot more comfortable with my shirt off. I'm a lot more comfortable in clothes. I still have issues because I am a small guy, so trying to find clothes that make me feel comfortable in them is still a little bit difficult. I pass, but for myself to feel comfortable in clothing sometimes is a little bit difficult, I find. Um, Also, because I had gotten rid of my love handles and they came back after surgery, that is something that does make me a little bit dysphoric. I don't really care for it. I don't notice it all the time. It's just when I do notice it, it's something that does tend to bother me. If I could change one thing, I'd cut them off. But like I don't want to go nuts because I know they're just love handles, but that's just one thing that personally has been bothering me. And then bottom dysphoria, so below the belt. We're not going to get into that, but as I've said previously, surgeries aren't exactly where I'd like them to be at this point in time. I do have a referral for my name to be put on CAMH, even though CAMH is phasing out. But just in case, I decided to throw my name on there for bottom surgery so that in a year or two, maybe I will be able to go have a consult with a surgeon who will be able to explain things, and maybe in 2 years they will have changed things a little bit. They've been changing a lot of things in the last couple years for a lot of the surgeries, so I am hopeful, but who knows? My goal for bottom surgery isn't really, um, it's not right now. It's the 3 to 5 year mark because I do want to get my histo done first, which actually I have a consult on February 16th of 2016, and I will be posting a video after my consult so that I can share information with anybody about that. If anyone doesn't have any questions about that, they can comment below or they can email the email that's going to be in the description. But I have noticed that since my top surgery, and I'm sure after my histo's done, I might feel a little bit more dysphoric about my bottom half. It's one of those things, it's kind of a common trend. Not everybody deals with it, but a lot of trans guys do deal with the fact that your top and your outside now all matches how you feel inside and who you know you are, and everybody's going to recognize that. But unless you're an exhibitionist, nobody's going to know about your bottom half, and it's nobody's business. So just remember that. It's nobody's business if you have had surgeries. It's nobody's business what is underneath your clothing. So just keep that in mind, and don't let anybody make you feel like it's their business, because it's not. But I will share my opinions with you. And for myself, I do have bottom dysphoria right now, and I do think that's because on the outside I look masculine. My chest is now that of a male chest, and I feel more comfortable. And the only thing that's really still female is my bottom half. So that obviously would make you dysphoric. I don't have issues going into a male bathroom. I'm fine. I don't use urinals. I use a stall. If I can't find a stall, then I will go somewhere else. But at the end of the day, it's not anything that bothers me on a public level where it's like, oh, I wonder if somebody's going to look at my crotch and wonder if I actually have anything or whatnot. It's just for my personal self, it's like there's still that one thing. I don't have any issues with my past life. I don't have any issues with the fact that I was female, with the fact that I identified as a lesbian. I don't have any issues with the fact that I'm trans. Um, it's just a matter of, to completely feel myself, it's starting to feel like that is something that is causing a little bit of issues. Overall, for mental health wise, transition hasn't really done anything. I've actually been able to tap into my mental health a little bit more because of coming out. So that has been one thing that transition has done for me. I'm able to address my mental health issues and realize that there are things going on that I don't even know about and I don't know how to control. So, I think everybody goes through things. And one thing that I can say is that my transition has definitely helped me realize who I am, become more comfortable, and then be able to acknowledge that things that were always there that bothered me in the past, or things that I had issues with, I wasn't really sure what they were. I wasn't really sure what they meant, or, I didn't have time to address it because there was just something else pulling at me from a different direction that was so much more important. And now that I figured it out, and this important part has definitely made a big difference in my life, so now it's just a matter of focusing on the other part of my life and fixing that. So, and I don't want to say fixing because, you know what? If it's not broken, don't fix it. It's not completely broken. I have a really awesome life. It's just a matter of everybody has things that they can handle and they can't handle, or things that they need to deal with, and things that are severe in their case. So it's just a matter of realizing what you need to do for yourself. And if transition has helped you realize a lot of things, then I'm sure that it will help you throughout navigating the rest of the things that you do have to do. I'm going to try to wrap this video up because it's getting kind of long. I'm getting towards the 25-minute mark. But I just wanted to share that with everybody. I hope that that's a decent amount of information. I will post some pictures at the end of this video, a comparison picture, and maybe a couple other ones. And like I said, either at the beginning of the video you would have heard my voice comparison, or at the end of this video you'll hear it. So either way it goes, you'll be able to hear it. But I hope everybody has a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope that you have an awesome holiday season. I hope that everybody is doing well. All the best in the new year. And please always feel free to ask questions. Email us if you don't feel comfortable commenting below. But we are here and we want to help you, and we hope that this video has shed some light on what it's like to be on T for about a year and a half. So I'll talk to y'all later, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, peace!